Hello and welcome to Peggy's Plants, coming to you from Central Florida. In today's highly requested video, I'd like to give you an update of the plants in my front yard. Now, some of you may recall I did a video when I was moving to Central Florida from the Florida Keys. These are some shots of my garden in the Florida Keys. I had philodendron orchids that I had mounted to trees, bromeliads that I had finally gotten to attach to trees, and I decided to unattach them and bring them along with me to Central Florida. So I was able to bring a lot of the bromeliads. I actually ended up leaving some of my favorites. As you can see here, I'm removing this one from the tree. It had attached quite well, but it's literally that easy to unattach a bromeliad. If you recall, or if you're aware, bromeliads use their roots only to attach to things. They don't get nutrition and things like that from their roots. So I took these plants, I detached them, I packed them up in a bin, and I also gathered some other plants that were in my garden that I really liked, packed them all up in bins, and brought them here to this house in Central Florida. So I decided, since my front yard is full of grand oak trees, that I would take these plants. I wanted to at least mount the bromeliads and orchids. So I did a video where I showed you the technique that I use to attach bromeliads to trees. If I'm able to just stick it in a little crevice, I will do that. But otherwise, as you can see here, I simply take a piece of burlap, I use a staple gun and attach the burlap, and then tuck the bromeliad or orchid, whatever I'm trying to attach, just tuck it down into the little pocket. So I showed you a video of how I did that, and I was able to mount most of them. I had a lot of plants and a lot of things going on at the same time, so I kind of took like Cordylines and things like that and just stuck them in the ground where they were. But on this particular tree, I tried to do a little something. I really wanted a tree that had bromeliads growing up it, with interspersed with orchids. This is the main tree that I mounted plants to, and some of them are just sitting on the ground, which turned out to be a bad idea with the people who come in and cut my grass and things like that. It just got to be a problem. So I did end up having to move some things. But I was really pleased with the layout and the different colors and different types of bromeliads. So today I'm going to take you out front and show you what I've done. I haven't done a lot out here. It doesn't really require a lot, I don't feel like, because there's just so many trees out here. But I want to give you an update on, everyone asked me, well, a lot of people asked me, how are the bromeliads doing that you mounted to the tree? How are the orchids? All of that kind of stuff. And I kept saying I was going to give you an update. So I am keeping my word finally and giving you that update. Now, this is the main tree that I had mounted all the orchids and bromeliads to. And as you see, I now have a pot over here with caladiums in there. First time planting caladium bulbs, and I'm in love with them. And I had to remove all of the bromeliads from the ground. Between the landscaping crew and the squirrels, it was a fiasco. But this one remains, and it is mounted to the tree. It is affixed. And these have actually been through hurricane force winds and everything. Now, this is the canopy that all the trees give me in my front yard. So as you can see, it's somewhat shaded, but I do get dappled sun. So it's like the perfect environment for orchids and bromeliads. This is a Cattleyas that I mounted to the tree, and a Phalaenopsis. And you see the roots? You can't even tell that the burlap is there anymore. I do usually go back and remove it, but you see the roots just kind of weaving themselves in between the bark and things like that. I think it's the coolest thing. Look at that root up there. It's just amazing. When they're attached, you know they're attached and they're not going anywhere. And I don't worry about storms, high winds, anything. They're starting to look a little bad. I have an ant problem over here, so I'm going to have to treat them. But they bloom frequently. This is what the bloom looks like. Absolutely gorgeous. When all of them are in bloom, it looks really pretty out here with the orchids and bromeliads. But this particular one I actually bought, never having seen the bloom or anything. I just seen a picture of it. And like I said, it blooms regularly. And as you can see here, there are several more buds. So it really does put on quite a show. It's one of my favorite orchids in this yard. This is what it looks like when it starts to fade. But again, just a beautiful orchid that you can see all the way coming down the street. I can see it when it's in bloom. I have a lot of Dendrobiums over here. This one I attached more recently. It's still working on it, but some of the roots have taken. As you can see, look at that going in between the crevices in the bark. I love it. And over here are the majority of the bromeliads that I mounted. All of these are now attached, and it didn't quite turn out like I wanted it to, so I think I'm going to thin it out some and move some around and put some of the miniature ones in there. But I still love it, and it's so easy to care for. I don't have to do anything except come over here every now and then and remove some of the depleted leaves, some of the leaves that have died off, because as they pup, the parent plant, the mother plant will die off, and you just pull the little, pull the little leaves off. But yeah, I want to make a few changes in there and put some with a little more color, but I like it. And especially like when the orchids are in bloom, it's really quite a show. This is a Croton that I brought from the Keys and put in the ground and decided to leave there, and it's doing well. This Dendrobium here stays in bloom. It's always in bloom, and as you can see, it has a few flowers on it, but there's 2 bloom spikes with buds presently, if you can see that. Yeah, like I said, this one is always in bloom. I've had a lot of luck with it. This is just hanging in the pot next to the tree, but I mean on the tree, but I think I want to attach that actually as well. They're just more stable when they're attached. And over here I have a Phalaenopsis that has been pretty recently put out here, and it is starting to attach. As you can see, it's doing well. It's hanging out. The squirrels love to pluck the plants out when I do this for some reason. I don't know what that's about, but yeah, the squirrels. What can I say? And this bromeliad, I did not put the fern there. That was already there, and it just comes back. But this one I just put in the middle here, and it stayed, and it has now attached as well. And like I said, storm force winds and everything, and I don't have to worry about these plants. That's why I'm going to take the orchids and stuff out of the pots, I think, and I have them attached to the tree as well. And another Dendrobium. This one I think is my most prolific bloomer. It blooms all the time. I have another one. No, it's not this one. There's another one that I think blooms even more than that one. But yeah, look at this. And they're just very happy over here. And like I said, I don't water them. I don't worry about them. I don't do anything. They just hang out here and do their thing. And that one's getting some buds on the end. And this is probably like the 3rd time that these have bloomed, 3rd or 4th time this year. And this Vanda loves it out here. It's doing crazy things with the roots. Nothing like a Vanda with nice roots, right? But this one gives me blooms on a regular basis as well. Look at these roots. As you can see, they are really just growing like weeds. I love it. Nice, thick, healthy, juicy roots. That's what you want to see on a Vanda orchid. And like I said, I don't do anything with these. I do need to come out here and treat them for, they look like they have a fungus, these black spots on them. And it's probably because it's rainy season, so they've been getting a lot of water. And usually during that time, I will see the black spots and stuff, and I'll just treat them with the antifungal. Showing you some of the other things over here. Let's see, another pot of caladiums. Yeah, not much going on over here. Some things I need to be putting in the ground and like that. Some Dracaena that I just cut off and stuck in the ground, and they are thriving. But yeah, the plants love it here. And over here, another Dendrobium. This one blooms quite a bit too. All of them out here bloom quite a bit. As you can see, there's a bloom spike on there. There was an ant. I had to get it. And there's some buds on this bloom spike. So there's 2 bloom spikes, and both of them should be giving me some flowers sometime soon. So like I said, I should have done this video when everything was like really in bloom and beautiful. But yeah, I kind of missed it. But this is what this looks like when it's in bloom. It's beautiful. And over here is another Dendrobium. And this is another one. I need to just go ahead and attach it to the tree. Because this is a lot. This plant is growing like a weed. It's over here with this pothos that I took off of a tree that we had to cut down. And so I was trying to get it to attach to this one, and it's not having it. So it's just hanging out right now. But this is my most prolific bloomer. And it usually will have 3 and 4 bloom spikes on it and sprays of flowers and everything. And this is what it looks like in bloom. Just beautiful. This is my fiddly fig. Now, I did not plant this. It was at the house when I bought this house, and it broke in a hurricane or in a bad storm. Well, it was a hurricane, but it wasn't a bad one or anything, but it broke when I first got here, and I cut it back, and it was just a stick, and now it's giving me some branches, and it's nice and full of leaves. And another one, I do nothing to this at all. I don't touch it. I can't grow a fiddly fig to save my life. And over here by this tree, I did put, I have some jungle cacti out here. They bloom a lot, but they bloom at night, so I don't see them that much. But look at this burl marks that I put over here. This was a reverted, variegated burl marks. And you see them here a lot around trees and growing up trees. So I was trying to get mine to grow up the tree, and it decided it just wants to grow around it and take over or overtake my Croton. So that is what it is doing. And I'm trying to figure out what I should do. And this is some kind of epiprimnum. I don't remember. I think it's an epiprimnum ponatum that I had and I brought out here. And it took it upon itself to start growing up this tree, and I'm not mad about it. Nice big leaves. But yeah, my favorite plant out here in the yard that I did plant was this white bird of paradise. It was large when I got it, but nowhere near this size. And I separated it and planted some of it throughout the yard. But it is beautiful. These leaves are so big now. This plant is amazing. And my sprinkler system gets its water from the lake, and I think the plants really like the lake water. So other than that, I do nothing to any of these plants. I just let them come out here. We'll have them out here doing their thing, but look how big the leaves are. Yeah, this plant has gotten so large. I love it. It's beautiful. One of my favorite. Don't tell the fiddly fig. You know, it's going to have to share the limelight a little bit. But it's growing very nicely. And like I said, I did some cuttings from this, well, divisions from this plant. And the divisions are doing well also. This is just looking at the plant from the other side. As you can see, look at that. I'm getting another leaf about to unfurl in here. And yeah, this plant just all year, it does well. The leaves get torn up a bit when it's windy because we have a lot of storms and things. And sometimes it gets really hot and it'll burn them, and I'll just come and trim them back. But other than that, they just love it out here. So that is that. Let's see, is there anything else I want to show you? May as well take you on over here. This is one of the white bird of paradise divisions that I took from the plant. I had it in a pot initially, and then I just put it over here. It doesn't get as much sunlight, so it's not growing as quickly. And here's another division from the bird of paradise. Yeah, there was a lot of plant in that pot, so I just decided to divide it and put it out in the yard. This is some grass, ornamental grass. I don't remember what it is, but I brought that from the Keys with me as well. And then over here, there's one of my bromeliads, just growing on the ground. This is also a croton that I brought with me from the Keys, and it's hanging in there, and a Dracaena that I planted over here. Loving all the different colors that these plants give. I like to rely on foliage for my color in my landscape. And this is, some of you may have seen on one of my shopping trips, that's a philodendron, I believe Xanadu, that I got on clearance. So yeah, and you've seen, the plants over here, but this is one of my favorite Cordylines. And then there's a philodendron moonlight in there. I believe it moonlight, moonglow, one of them. But yeah, so that's about it. That's what's going on in the yard. So now I have given you your update. Thank you so much for watching. Stay well, take care, and I hope to see you next time. Bye-bye.